I haven't uploaded a video for over a month, and that was not my original plan. But my original thought was at least to finish things and then do a video on the finished items. But I just keep changing these things. I keep changing the color and the finish on the helmets. So whatever the final form is, it's not going to really document all the changes that it went through. So today is just like a studio tour, a preview to hopefully a future video about this process I'm using. I've been using graphite powder and different undercolors, different finishes for the graphite powder. Ultimately, all these pieces here are painted with the chrome Krylon paint, which is very finicky, and there's probably better ways to do it, but I'm just so delighted to see the forms of the helmets, the design of the helmets be highlighted with the chrome finish. So the graphite is a little more subtle, and it does take a lot more time, but you still have to prep the surface pretty well. So like any surface imperfections are going to get really pulled out by the chrome finish. In this case, I had a bad undercoating where this had previously been yellow, and I'd sanded it down, and then I changed it to black, and even put graphite powder on this. So I had like an undercoating issue that kind of corrupted the chrome paint, and I had a lot of this running. But not everything works out perfect. I'm pretty happy if most things come through the paint well. Sometimes you just have some oil or some kind of impurity, and you just have to sand it down and repaint it. The front part of the Scout mask came out really good, and just by itself is totally displayable and gorgeous. These are some new sculptures I'm making for a show here in Los Angeles. I've been making these ghost shapes, or they're just like little sculptures. I originally started making these out of ceramic and casting them in porcelain in a lot of different sizes, actually even bigger than this, but all the way down to like really small. So I'm still just doing shows with that and exploring that shape. On this one over here, it's the largest shape I've 3D printed of the ghost. I plan to do a graphite drawing on the surface. So I'm trying to work that out, test out some ideas for, I kind of want to do like an illustration on the surface that's like a false depth, or like a false 3D. I want to try to make it look like it has holes in it, even though it doesn't. Here's a breech blaster that I made by combining parts of an EC17 with the DC15A. Of course, the EC17, very trusty. You always want to have one of those. Here are two more sculptures in that ghost shape that I had fun painting, and now I'm just clear coating them a bunch. Here are the finished Rex antennae once he is all done. Things you are going to need. A data pad from Halo Infinite. You're going to need a 3D printer because you're going to want to print wheels, drifting wheels for your car. These are so much fun, and they last forever, and they're basically free. You think about it. The graphite powder, just good to play around with for aging and great metallic effects. But most importantly, you're going to need the tire slime for when your bike tires are getting leaky. Yeah, this is the Rex that I'm continually layering. This guy used to be red. I played with some aging finishes. I wasn't quite happy with it, and I sanded it back down again. Not a ton, just a little, and then I've repainted it white with a really trusty white paint primer that I like to use that is very sandable. So this helmet's getting really, really nice, and I know that if I clear coated it to give it a real smooth, shiny finish, and then use that chrome paint, it's going to look really awesome. and I almost can't resist doing it, but I've already done that on the other helmet, and I'm really thinking to try to do this clone helmet of Captain Rex with, I don't really, so many people have already done the Rex helmet. I don't really need to exactly do that, but I do want to make a clone helmet that's very, very aged looking, to try to place it in, say, modern times, like to place a clone helmet in the era of Luke Skywalker, which, in a way, Boba Fett kind of was the placeholder for that. Anyway, that's other stuff. You're going to need gaffer tape. You're going to need a bunch of sandpaper in the 100s and 200s. Those are the most useful for printing. Don't go rougher because you'll just de-strand the print. You don't want to do that too much. Just for paints, for sanding, just 100s and 200s. And then I also have some 400s and 800s, for that final cleanup. Well, thanks for joining me on this studio tour. Hope you enjoyed it. I do hope to do a video on these pieces with more information on exactly how I did it. If you like this stuff, throw me a like on the video and let me know what you think in the comments. Later.